So we've been working with this theme in different ways, and I've been creating different videos that come at this theme with some different perspectives. Just general how we live life, focusing more on health, talking specifically about my ultra running and choices I'm making there with my races. I wanted to speak directly to this theme that I've been working with that has a lot to do with slowing down and being more gentle with ourselves. And I know it's a theme that makes a lot of people like yawn and want to turn off this video, but I am asking you to stick with me here because I never thought I'd be talking about how important something like this is. I have lived my whole life at a very high intensity, and in a lot of ways, I still do. So, when we start to talk about gentleness and slowing down, that is not at all me asking you to completely slow down in your life and stop doing any of the exciting, intense activities that you do. What this is about, given my direct experience, is the importance of really intentionally taking time in our lives to slow down, to connect into our fuller selves, right? And there's a lot to be unpacked there just with that statement. The main thing being when I say that, getting out of our heads. Our world is so programmed to live completely up in our heads. And if you're like me and you're an athlete, or maybe you're into yoga or other type of activities that do bring in the whole body, yes, obviously the body has a bigger role to play there. But I find, again, this is based on direct experience and experience I have from working with others, even when we're out running or on the mat doing yoga, there's still this tendency to perform these actions from a headspace, from this is what I want this experience to be, and I'm going to do all I can to make this experience into what I had planned, into what my goals have set. And as always, there's an amazing value to setting goals and to having plans. What I like to focus on is the other side of things. That is, yes, how can we set goals? How can we make plans while also being in tune with the moment to moment unfolding of life? And I've made several videos really pointing to what led me here, the big mistakes that I made in my life and the big happenings out in the world that really led me to understanding the importance of what we're going to talk about here. So I'm about to teach a yoga class, and I am putting together what is going to be my online teaching yoga platform that I'm going to be announcing here soon. So if you're watching close to the date that I release this, keep your head up for that. If you're watching it later, I'm sure that is up and live, and I am happy to see you all over there. But as I'm creating the space through which I can teach yoga, what I'm really focused on is being intentional about this gentle aspect of the class that I'm bringing, and this piece that is really asking us to slow down our pace. And I keep questioning it because it's something that's so unnatural to me. Again, as an ultra runner and rock climber, and I spent this weekend up split boarding in the snowy alpine. I hiked to tree line in deep snow to go ride in the backcountry through powder, and it's intense out there. There's avalanches to consider. So again, it's this intensity piece that is very alive in my life. And so then when I'm entering into a gentler, slowing down space, I'm really questioning, like, is this really what I want to be doing right now? And I keep coming back to the lessons I've learned. And the lessons that I've learned, again, from my own experience, from teachings from others, from working with others, is that if we can't intentionally create this time in our lives to slow down, to engage our nervous systems, to really come in tune with what is alive right here, right? And I'm doing this because it's all of me. It's all the different systems, all the different parts that combine to make me. And all these different parts are really much more than our world tends to give us credit for. Again, going back to this mind-body piece. This mind-body piece is so popular in our world right now. This piece that is mind over matter. And again, that's setting goals and pushing us to get where we want to go. And this framework really misses out on the bigger picture that is alive here. And yes, I can continue to make YouTube videos and talk about all those different pieces, but in reality, what's actually going to benefit each of us isn't more lecture from me, is more time being very intentionally in the space that is your own self. I, from a yoga perspective, have come to love teaching this through slow, intentional, gentle moving and breathing. How can we create space to be with ourselves as we're moving our bodies, as we're breathing? And this gives us something to do. This gives us something to put our attention on. This provides an ability for things to flow. And as this is happening, it provides a very powerful space to really get in tune with our own needs as they're unfolding on a moment-to-moment basis. So I like to teach a practice that is very similar day to day. What keeps things interesting is, even though the practice, right, the movements aren't that different, what is different is me day to day. What's different is how I'm showing up. Am I coming back from a backcountry alpine split boarding trip? Have I been working, sitting in front of my computer a lot? Have I been, depending on what I'm doing, depending on all the different other factors going on in the world, in my body, how I show up on the mat, that is going to change the practice. And that really becomes the practice. The practice becomes being in tune with what is here, day to day, moment to moment. And this becomes what I have deemed worthy as the most important thing for me to be teaching here, because, out in our world, I think we're on a trajectory to continue to be put further and further in our heads and further into the world of technology and further stripped away from our bodies and from everything that means. And again, there's certain value, right? There's certain value to living in our heads. There's immense value to technology and its advancement. And that's great. And at the same time, I find this immense need to be ever more fully in tune with what is happening here in our bodies. And I've made other videos really getting at the deeper why of why that is. I will continue to make videos about those. I will continue to write about these experiences, but it really gets at our health and our well-being, and how this separation from being in tune with what our bodies, our fuller selves really need, from where I stand, is really at the root of so much of the distress and disease that is alive in our world. We can talk about that from a mental health perspective, a physical health perspective, a ecosystem health perspective. And they are all so alive in, where my own heart is these days. And yes, we can certainly spend time being focused on specifically helping to address physical health problems, and specifically working to address mental health problems, and specifically working to address ecological health problems. Here, though, maybe, right, this is a bit of a working hypothesis of mine, is that if we can spend more time being more intentionally in tune with what is alive here right now, what is being asked to be felt, then from this space, we become so much more capable of actually taking action that actually leads to beneficial outcomes. I'm going to leave us with that here today. I'm filming this video, and I'm just really, really excited to bring forth what's really two different spaces right now, and I'm going to be announcing both soon. The one I will talk to right now is, again, that online yoga space where we can come together and really focus on this idea, this practice that I'm talking about here. So again, if you're watching this close to the release date, I I hope you will be looking out for further announcements on what this space is going to offer. The best way to do that is to be on my newsletter, upwardslopes.com/newsletter. If you're watching this in the following weeks or months, I'm sure that space is live and already available to you, and I hope to see you over there. So thanks for tuning in today. I hope you got some value out of this. If you're here still listening, then I can assume that you did. And if you did, then I would love to hear about it in the comments. As always, please like, subscribe. It helps me, it helps you so that you know when the next videos are coming out. I will catch you guys next time.